I thought I was stuck as a pilot. For weeks, every session felt like I was trying to get better, but instead of actually flying, I was troubleshooting, changing parts, testing things, basically doubting my whole setup. But then one firmware update changed everything. Same frame, same motors, same ESC, but suddenly the quad felt completely different. And for the first time in weeks, I could finally stop testing and start flying again. In my last video I talked about feeling stuck in my progress, and at the time that was honestly how it felt. I wanted to fly more, I wanted to push harder, I wanted to keep building on the progress I had been making. But every time I went out, I wasn't really focused on flying, I was focused on figuring out what was wrong. What is up, YouTube? It has been a while. I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing fine. I had some crazy busy work weeks for the past months. How long ago that I posted my last video? It's like 1.5 months ago or something. The main issue was that my quad wasn't working right, but we've got it fixed, or it should be fixed. And I think today we're going to have a carefree session. Is that dangerous to say out loud before you go flying? It definitely is. I think it's more dangerous than saying last spec. It's actually a lot more windy than I anticipated, and I just checked my rain radar, and yeah, I think in about an hour it's going to rain. As a Dutch person, I can tell that doesn't mean any good. My rain radar changed suddenly to red, which means thunder. Seems kind of dry now. The weird thing is, the setup itself started out really good. Back in December, I switched to the Blackbird V4 2307 motors. These are 2060 kV, and so on a light 5-inch freestyle build, they are definitely not subtle. They have a wider stator and a lot of torque, and with a higher kV, that can get pretty aggressive when you start pushing them. But at first, everything was fine. The quad had a lot of power, but it was controllable. So at that point, I didn't really think the motors were causing the issues. The problems started later. Gotta be honest, they are not cheap, these motors. And when I got them, I was kind of skeptical how much difference can it really make, but it makes a lot of difference. I am not sure what they did with this motor, but you know, you see all these guys saying smooth violence, you know, and I thought it's the perfect marketing gimmick, but it's just true. You have a lot of resolution down low, but when you go full throttle, it just goes. You can do some perfect open fields bang, but still do your proxy stuff. I'm not sure how this will work in a band though, but I find them really nice. Around March, I switched from the CNHL 1100 black lipos to the Tattoo 1600 V6. And I had tried the SMC 1600 before, but my experience was a bit disappointing. But still, after switching to the Blackbird motors, I was curious how a more premium lipo would feel on this setup. And since I had some FPV money to spare, I got the Tattoo 1600. And honestly, these specs feel amazing. Combined with these Blackbird motors, the quad had this really strong and consistent power delivery. And yeah, looking back, this is probably where things get a bit weird. I switched from the China Hobbyline 1100 lipo to the Tattoo 1600 V6. So again, like with the SMC 1600, we went from the lowest, worst performing lipo, according to Chris Wasser, to the top. I had some FPV money to spare, so I decided to try it one more time myself and fly it for longer, because the SMC 1600 I just flew for one time, and at the time it didn't really blow me away. But I gotta say, now I've been flying the tattoos, especially with these crazy ass motors, it just goes. They have at least 5 minutes of flight time, sometimes 6, sometimes 7. I've even reached 7.5 on proxy spots, and the power delivery across the whole voltage range from full to empty, it just goes. Now, would I recommend buying these? Well, if you want to go on a budget, you can still get the China Hobby line. For one of these, you can probably get 3 or 4 China Hobby line packs. I began to get random things. Not every fight, not every pack. Sometimes it would happen multiple times in the sessions, and sometimes it just wouldn't happen at all. And because it was so intermittent, I didn't really immediately connect it to the LiPo. I tried another ESC, I tried another flight controller, I tested different motors, and I checked my tune. I kept looking for something obvious, but the problem stayed. And with the legacy Voltara firmware, there weren't really many ESC settings I could change. A lot of it is hard-coded, so I couldn't really play with the timing, PWM, ramp up power, whatever to see what could calm the setup down. I managed to get some packs in, and I'm focusing on some proxy stuff, you know, a bit slow, controlled, and then I have this combo on the open field that I try to mix in a little bit. So it's basically a very quick juicy flick into some kind of yaw roll kind of thing back.
Huh?
It looks I think it looks pretty cool. Then, shortly after uploading my last video, I got a message from Liviu, the developer behind Voltara. He told me that the new firmware for the Voltara ESC was ready and that there was a good chance it could fix the issue I was having. From what I understand, Gen 2 is basically a new written code designed to work better with modern LiPos and more powerful motor setups. And that immediately made sense to me because this whole issue started when I combined a powerful motor with a much stronger and more consistent battery. So I flashed the new firmware, went out to test it, and the result was immediate. The D-Syncs were gone, just like that. Same quad, same hardware. The problem that had been holding me back for weeks was suddenly not there anymore. What a day, what a day. We got it stuck up in the tree, and it's above the water and above these crazy ass bushes that I'm never going to get in. So let's hope the stick will help us again. Hands down, this is one of the best investments I've done in FPV. It wasn't cheap, even though it was on AliExpress, but it saves so many time and frustration. We just broke an arm. Here we go again.